everyone. We'll call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. We'll begin our meeting as we always do with public audience. Is there anyone who'd like to speak? Joe?
I have to go to the coding, so it'll be a chance. Takes a while to move. A tradition is only as long as you make it, then you change it. You can change it as long as you. That's not part of my 5
No, it's not. Yep.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Joan Code 26 Whitcomb Drive. I would like to inform you that my bumper sticker affixed to my car since December 9, 2015, Boycott Mitchell Car Dealership, was stolen while I attended the March 29, 2016 Board of Finance meeting. I placed this bumper sticker on my car after I was told that my service file at the Mitchell Car Dealership stated, quote, "Do not service this person." After the 4-hour finance meeting, I returned to my car to find my bumper sticker missing. I immediately went to the Simsbury Police Department to file a complaint on the theft and asked that the person get arrested. I also asked that the police review surveillance tape at Town Hall parking lot. The next day, the tape was reviewed, and so was the Board of Finance meeting SCTV video of the meeting. The surveillance tape showed a person driving a red Volvo SUV parked in back of my car with my bumper sticker facing the front of the Volvo. The woman wearing a white coat got out of her car, ripped the bumper sticker from my car. After reviewing the tapes, the police identified Diana Moody as the person of interest. Diana Moody was contacted by the police and was told they saw her on tape taking my bumper sticker. Diana Moody returned the bumper sticker to the police and stated, quote, "On 3/29/2016, after years of frustration with Joan, I pulled the bumper sticker off her vehicle when I got out of a town meeting," end quote. Does this meet prosecutorial discretion? How will Diana Moody try to intimidate me the next time? Diana Moody is a personal friend of Steve Mitchell. Why does Diana Moody think that not only is she above the law, but she can arbitrarily violate my First Amendment right to free speech? Later the next day, I was asked to return to the police department to see the returned bumper sticker. This is all the police report. And I asked again if I wanted to have her arrested. I once again stated that I wanted her arrested for larceny 6. I was told that a warrant had to be written and sent to the court. This seemed odd since there was an admission of guilt. I was told the court will determine whether to have her arrested. On April 6th, after the Board of Finance budget hearing, Diana Moody affixed a note to my windshield trying to explain away her actions. On Friday, April 8th, I received a phone call from the police department stating that the court refused to prosecute on number 11, prosecutorial discretion. Since when does a person who admits to a crime gives the court the right to prosecute to this response? Gives the court the right to discretion. Since when does a person who admits to a crime gives the court the right to prosecutorial discretion? Was a phone call to the state's attorney office made that prompted this response? Why does the court pick winners and losers? Are there different standards for politically connected people, or are they too busy to prosecute crimes? I will be contacting the state's attorney's office to ask for an appeal to their decision. How far does their discretion go when a crime is committed? There appears to be a systemic failure in the criminal justice system to prosecute crimes. The Board of Selectmen has been reticent to increase surveillance through the use of police body cameras. Videos don't lie. The theft of my bumper sticker would never have been solved in one day, if ever, if there weren't any cameras at the Town Hall parking lot. If there were cameras on Iron Horse Boulevard at the time of the murder, Melissa Milan, the police might have been able to find the murderer and solve the crime. The cameras would also oversee any illegal activity at the concerts. The Charter Revision Commission has finalized their draft with the town manager as the CEO of Simsbury. I am concerned that Tom Cook, Director of Administrative Services, has been assigned to the liaison to the Charter Revision Commission and the town attorney when he has some skin in the game and could be the heir apparent for the position of town manager. Many charters have residence requirements which allow the town manager to be an integral part of the community. The present charter, as written, has a residency of 30 miles. Tom Cook lives in West Hartford and has a law degree, not a degree in public administration. I would hope if this charter is approved by the residents, there would be an open search for the position of town manager. Simsbury Patch reported that 2 Simsbury residents died of overdose deaths in 2015. In March 2016, there were 2 untimely deaths attributed to drug overdoses. It appears that Simsbury is not immune to drug addiction. All of my comments will be posted on Simsbury Patch, Twitter at Joan Coe, Simsbury Forum Topics, and Newsfeed on Facebook. Thank you for listening, and this is my report that was generated by the police department.
Thank you, Joan. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Mr. Kalishman.
Robert Kalishman, Simsbury. Recently, it has been brought to my attention about the privileges that are being awarded by this board and by the various departments in the town of Simsbury. And being that we supposedly, if we practice what we preach, and we come from the valley of the Constitution, in other words, we're from Simsbury, this was the valley where the revolution started and where many a young man and old man went up to Bunker Hill to take care of the German king. And one of the instigators or one of the leaders of that revolution to deny a certain class privilege was a fellow by the name of Samuel Adams. And this is what Samuel Adams had to say. The Constitution has been established. The people must be vigilant, guarded against attack from any source. And while a threat to the people's fundamental rights could come from any direction, the people must be particularly wary of the aristocracy. Now, and in years past, the aristocracy was associated with privilege. And we have privilege in Simsbury. When certain people are more or less told that they can do just about anything in town. And in my opinion, the way it's being done is through the 2 political parties. It's being done with the Republican Party via the chairman, Mr. Hagney, and it's being done with the Democratic Party, the chairman. And it doesn't get better, it gets worse. Just like I was speaking to a fellow in Washington. It doesn't get any better, it gets worse. Case in point, we have a hero, a war hero. Name is Dan Crowley. He was more or less drafted into the Marine Corps when he swam ashore at Corregidor in 1942. The Marine that challenged him asked him who he was, and he said it was Corporal Crawley from the United States Air Force. And he says, "You're not Corporal Crawley, United States Air Force anymore, you're Corporal United States Marine Corps." And he fought with the Marines on Corregidor. And ironically enough, our Secretary of State, the wisdom of the White House, our Secretary of State went to Hiroshima, and it was either on the 9th of April or the 12th of April, and he laid a wreath. And for you historians, let me remind you, the 9th of April, that's the day that the United States surrendered Bataan. That's the day that those fellas were marched off to Camp O'Donnell. They were bayoneted, kicked, beheaded, and we go over to apologize, and we do it on the day they took Bataan. And of course, a month later, on the 6th of May, they surrendered Corregidor. And I just thought I'd mention that. But getting back to privilege, there's no room for it in Simsbury. And really, you're the people that judge, you're the people that administrate, you're the people that are in charge of various things. And whether you realize it or not, whatever is done in these departments in town reflects on you and your ability to govern. Now, it may be great to go down, and it's like Trump said, he goes out, maybe he's right. Maybe we have the same problem in Simsbury that they have in Washington and New York. Maybe you people are corrupt.
Mr. Kaushman,
But
it's
how
been
can
5 minutes.
how can you sit honorably and not get out?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kaushman. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak at public audience? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to presentations. April 2nd was Autism Awareness Day, created by the UN, and the month of April is Autism Awareness, and we have a proclamation that Cheryl Cook will read for that. I'd like to welcome before that and recognize Ed LaMontagne, who's chairman of the Aging and Disability Committee, and invite him to say a word or two if you'd like.
I yield to Mr. LaMontagne if he'd like to speak.
Thank you. Well, let me, on behalf of the commission, let me thank the board for this proclamation. As you all know, that autism is prevalent not only in the town of Simsbury, but also in the state of Connecticut and throughout the country. So I think it's also incumbent upon us to recognize and to ensure that people are aware that autism exists, not only through the month of April, but also year-round. So from our perspective on the commission, we'll make sure that we do that. But I want to thank the board for this proclamation for the month. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Cheryl.
Thank you. Proclamation, Autism Awareness. Whereas autism, the fastest growing developmental disability in the United States, affecting more than 3 million people, is an urgent public health crisis that demands a national response. And whereas autism is the result of a neurological disorder that affects the normal functioning of the human brain and can affect anyone, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, or socioeconomic background. And whereas symptoms and characteristics of autism may present themselves in a variety of combinations and can result in a significant lifelong impairment of an individual's ability to learn, develop healthy interactive behaviors, and understand verbal as well as nonverbal communication. Whereas the effort to address autism continues, doctors, therapists, and educators can help persons with autism overcome or adjust to its challenges and provide early, accurate diagnosis and the resulting appropriate education, intervention, and therapy that are vital to the future growth and development. And whereas ensuring that persons living with autism have access to lifelong care and services needed to pursue the full measure of personal happiness and achieve their greatest potential. And whereas the town of Simsbury is honored to take part in the annual observance of Autism Awareness Month and World Autism Awareness Day in the hope that it will lead to a better understanding of the disorder. Therefore, I, Lisa Hefner, First Selectman, do hereby proclaim April 2016 as Autism Awareness Month and April 2nd, 2016 as World Autism Awareness Day in Simsbury to raise public awareness of autism and the myriad of issues surrounding autism, as well as to increase knowledge of the programs that have been and are being developed to support individuals with autism and their families. In witness whereof, I have placed my seal and the Great Seal of the Town of Simsbury, dated 2nd day of April, 2016. Lisa Hefner, First Selectman.
Thank you, Cheryl. We'll move on to First Selectman's report. I wanted to let folks know that we have, again, won recognition through the Only in Your State website. We were recently learned that the website Only in Your State has named Simsbury the best town in America to live. So congratulations to Simsbury and everyone who did that. Very exciting news. I wanted to remind folks that the Town of Simsbury budget calendar is still underway. There will be a public hearing at the Board of Finance on April 19th at 6 p.m. If folks want to go and give comment at that time, you can do that. And we are scheduled to go to referendum on May 10th. Spring cleaning in Simsbury. We request everyone to help us keep Simsbury one of the top 10 best places to live in America. One way you can do that is to join the Board of Selectmen and volunteers around town on April 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's Trail Cleanup Day, which is organized by the Farmington Valley Trails Council. Our thanks to the president of that council, Bruce Donald, and all the volunteers who work so hard to keep our trails clean. Please join us for that. Hometown Hero nominations, it's that time of year again, very exciting time where we get to celebrate the many wonderful people in our town who do so much to make our community better. We are currently taking nominations, and you can find out information about how to nominate a Hometown Hero on our town website. As Cheryl mentioned, it is Autism Awareness Month. You may have noticed that Eno is lit up blue for this month, and there's a big blue puzzle piece similar to Cheryl's on her lapel. I'd like to recognize Tom Roy, who does this every year, and that's in recognition of Autism Awareness Month, so thank you for that. The presidential preference primary in Connecticut will be held on April 26th. All polling places will be open, and those include Henry James, Latimer Lane, Terriffill, and Tooten Hills, and they'll be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Please note that there is no Election Day voter registration for primaries. They're just for regular elections. And to find out information about registering to vote, please visit the town website. I wanted to remind folks about the Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day, which is April 30th. The town of Simsbury, in conjunction with the towns of Avon, Canton, Granby, and Farmington, will be holding a hazardous waste collection on Saturday, April 30th, 2016, at Farmington High School. And the collection will run from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Residents may dispose of items, including compact and fluorescent light bulbs, batteries, lawn care chemicals, items containing mercury, household cleaners, chemicals from the garage. And in addition to household hazardous waste, Farmington is also offering free electronic recycling drop-off at the Farmington Town Hall, which is at 1 Monteith Drive. And thank you to Tom Roy, who is here for helping to coordinate that. And if you have questions, you can call Tom Roy at Public Works. The Simsbury Innovation Fair is set for April 30th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with exhibits, activities, demonstrations at the Simsbury Public Library, the Historical Society, Simsbury High School. Check out the cool activities on their website, simsburyideas.com. That's a great event, and encourage folks to come. It's a lot of fun. Congratulations to the Simsbury Chamber Award recipients. The Simsbury Chamber of Commerce will recognize the achievements of 4 individuals at its annual Leadership Awards Luncheon on May 26th. Bob Hensley will receive the 2016 Business Leader of the Year Award. The Public Servant of the Year awards will be given to 2 people this year upon the recommendation of the Board of Selectmen, and that is Peter Askham and Nicholas Mason for their many years of service on the town's Board of Finance. And finally, our congratulations to Brian Foreman, a technology education teacher at Henry James School who is receiving the Chamber's 2016 Educator of the Year Award. So thanks everyone for that. I see that Tom Roy is here, and so I would like to request that we amend the agenda so that we can get Tom out of here for his agenda. And that item G to the first item. Will you,
Yes.
Okay, we're motion to move item G to the first item of discussion. May I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have before us a motion to authorize the first selectman to enter into an agreement with Eversource Energy to receive the Bright Ideas grant funding. I'll turn it over to Tom to describe this. It is an outstanding initiative by the Clean Energy Task Force and Tom Roy, and we're excited to, I'm excited to support, and I hope the board will be excited too as well.
Long and short of it, the Clean Energy Task Force, they're just great, and over the work that they've been doing since 2008, they have earned enough points to qualify for not 1, but actually 2 of these Bright Ideas grants. This is the first grant, which has a maximum limit of $10,000. We looked at a number of projects with the committee, and being that we own 6 residential rental homes, which are insulated but not insulated up to the maximum standard that we felt that we'd like to have done, we went out, we solicited quotations, and oddly enough, it came in under the $10,000. Originally, we had estimated that it was going to be a little bit higher, so I think we got a pretty good price. But roughly $8,133. It insulates the homes. It's going to be fully refundable by the grants, and it's going to give the people who are utilizing these low-income rentals the best benefit that we can, because it's going to lower their monthly utility bills.
All right, questions for Mr. Roy? Tom, did you want to say anything about the hazardous waste day? Or we got it covered, as long as I have you here.
Well, we've formed essentially a coalition since we've moved away from, we used to partner with the Metropolitan District Commission in Hartford. They changed their program a few years back, and they were actually going to exclude Granby. We had always partnered with Canton, Avon, Simsbury, and Granby. We started doing our own collection with those 4 towns a couple years back. We moved it from Henry James over to the Public Works facility on Town Forest Road. Managing it ourselves, we've actually been able to control costs. I think we actually provide better resident service. It's really great to see our guys interact with the residents coming there, because they can answer some of these unique questions, like, if I can't get rid of this here, how do I get rid of it? And they know the procedures at the landfill. They know where they can get rid of the scrap metal, and it's been really good. And Farmington, in hearing of the success that we've had, they asked if they could join in. So this year, we're actually going to be able to offer 3 collections to our residents, 2 in Simsbury, and this one coming up in Farmington. And then kind of taking Farmington's lead, they have always worked with their football team to do the electronics recycling, where it's free drop-off for electronics, but the high school football team is taking the electronics out, and it's an opportunity for them to collect donations or tips, which help offset some of their costs. So we are currently talking a little bit with our own athletic teams, including the crew team, and I think we're also going to be talking to the football team to see if they'd each like to partner up with us at that event. So.
Great. Okay, thanks, Tom. May I have a motion to authorize the first selectman to enter into an agreement with Eversource Energy to receive the Bright Ideas grant funding?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Thanks, Tom.
Aye. Thank you. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Tom.
Okay. We'll move on to item A in your agendas. May I have a motion to approve tax refunds in the amount of $570.61?
So moved.
Second.
We'll go with Cheryl and then Chris. Any further discussion? All in favor? Please say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously. We're going to table discussion participation in the CT Prime Stop Loss Program and possible action for tonight, and we plan on placing this on the agenda on April 25th. We anticipate that we will have more information for this board by then. We thought we were operating on a tight deadline, but it turns out we do have the flexibility to wait and get more information. So if there's no objection, that item is tabled. Moving on to item C, refer the 2017 capital projects to the Planning Commission for CSG Section 824 referral. It's kind of unusual that we're doing this because the Board of Finance has not yet taken a vote, but I believe we can still make the referral because the Board of Selectmen has recommended it. So, may I have a motion to refer the capital projects previously approved by the Board of Selectmen to the Planning Commission in accordance with Section 824?
So move.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously. We're on to a couple sort of house cleaning items that we do every budget season. You have before you the next one, a motion to approve the 2017 townwide budget mailer. It has been approved in form by council. Any changes that will be made may be a photograph, or if there are budget changes made, during the budget process, which is still ongoing at the April 19th meeting. So the reason why this goes to council is we cannot do a promotion, so it just has to provide information. It's very scripted. You'll see that there are not many changes over the years because this has been approved by council and by law, so there's not a lot of flexibility. There are creativity. So this is what we have. May I have a motion to approve the attached fiscal year 2017 budget mailer, subject to any budget number changes?
So moved. Sorry.
Who did that? We'll go with Chris.
One of you second.
Chris made it, Mike seconded. Chris then Mike. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion passes unanimously. You have before you a public gathering permit, request for approval, recommendation for approval. This is a motion for the holding of the high school graduation. It will be on June 8th at 6 p.m. Jerry's not here. We want our classes to graduate.
I don't know, Chris, what do you think?
Probably wise.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion by Sean Askham. May I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously.
I will ask a question, Lisa. I should ask
Yeah.
this under discussion.
Yeah.
How come they couldn't do this when I was in school? No, I'm kidding.
No snow days.
I have no answer for you on that one. The next one is approved Town of Simsbury Fair Housing Resolution and Equal Opportunity Policies. We're very happy to have Ed LaMontagne here, and I'll get to why he's here and why it's important to him. But the Town of Simsbury, on behalf of the Simsbury Housing Authority, which Ed is the executive director, so welcome in this capacity, received a Small Cities grant to fund and repair the roof and roads at the Virginia Connolly and Owen Murphy apartments. In connection with this grant, and in recognition of April as Fair Housing Month, the town is reviewing and reissuing its policies designed to protect against discrimination. All of these policies are currently in effect in Simsbury. Reissuance at this time ensures that the policies are up to date and meeting the requirements of the Small Cities Grant. We're going to do this in two motions because the resolution must be read in full and the policies can be done as a group. So I'll start with motion one. May I have a motion to adopt and authorize the first selectman to execute and reissue the following policies prohibiting discriminatory practices, which also provide procedures for enforcement. A Fair Housing Policy Statement, Title VI Equal Opportunity Statement, Affirmative Action Policy Statement, ADA Notice, and Municipal Grievance Procedure.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously. This next one must be read into the record. May I have a motion to adopt the Fair Housing Resolution?
Elaine will make that motion.
Wow, Sean.
It's cold. Whereas all persons are afforded a right to full and equal housing opportunities in the neighborhood of their choice, and whereas federal fair housing laws require that all individuals, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, or national origin, be given equal access to all housing-related opportunities, including rental and homeownership opportunities, and be allowed to make free choices regarding housing location. And whereas Connecticut fair housing laws require that all individuals, regardless of race, creed, color, national origin, ancestry, sex, marital status, age, lawful source of income, familial status, learning disability, physical or mental disability, sexual orientation, or gender identity or expression, be given equal access to all housing-related opportunities, including rental and homeownership opportunities, and be allowed to make free choices regarding housing location. And whereas the town of Simsbury is committed to upholding these laws and realizes that these laws must be supplemented by an affirmative statement publicly endorsing the right of all people to full and equal housing opportunities in the neighborhood of their choice. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Simsbury hereby endorses a fair housing policy to ensure equal opportunity for all persons to rent, purchase, obtain financing, and enjoy all other housing-related services of their choice on a non-discriminatory basis as provided by state and federal law. And be it further resolved that the Chief Executive Officer of the Town of Simsbury, or his or her designated representative, is responsible for responding to and assisting any person who alleges to be the victim of an illegal discriminatory housing practice in the Town of Simsbury, and for advising such person of the right to file a complaint with the State of Connecticut Commission on Human Rights and Opportunities or the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or to seek assistance from the Connecticut Fair Housing Center, Legal Services, or other fair housing organizations to protect his or her right to equal housing opportunities. Do I keep going? Mm-hmm. Adopted by the Town of Simsbury on April 11th, 2016.
So we have a motion by Elaine. Do we have a second?
Second.
We'll go with Sean.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We will now move on. We have no appointments or resignations, so we will move on to review of the minutes.
Lisa, I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you want Ed to speak on the fair housing thing? Or?
Oh, sure. Ed, Ed, would you like to speak on that at all?
I gotta switch hats real quick here. know, obviously, we're supportive of fair housing. And well, no, that's
Thanks, Sharon.
yeah.
You want to coordinate with him in advance, I think.
To give you an update on the Small Cities Grant, today we had our bid openings, and it's been a long, arduous process. Hopefully, the work will be done by June. So
Great.
Looking forward to getting.
We're looking forward to it. Let us know when it's done. We'd love to see it.
Absolutely.
We're very excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Next, we go on to review of the minutes. If anyone has any changes, we'll take a motion. If not, those will stand.
I did not have anything.
All right, we will move on to Selectmen liaison and subcommittee reports and begin with personnel. And Chris?
Yep, so we had a personnel subcommittee meeting last week where we were asked to review and approve an amended job description for the town clerk register of vital statistics. This was done by Eric Gomes, who is the interim deputy director of administrative services. Our town clerk, as you know, has been with us for a very long time, so there were quite a few changes that need to be made to it. None of them were really substantive, except for one, which I'll mention. Most of it was changing wording such as word processing, manually recording data that's been electronically recorded for quite a while. There were some changes to language relative to what the certification requirements are. There are currently 2 paths to certification for a town clerk. Those were not necessarily represented accurately in the job description, so those were integrated into it. There is no change to, really anything else on a substantive level. So I would ask for a motion or make a motion to approve the revised job description for the town clerk, Register of Vital Statistics.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? This came out unanimously out of personnel sub?
Of the 2 of us, yes.
Yes.
Both of us voted
Well
no.
done.
Took many hours, but we got there.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously. I do have an update for this board from the Open Space Committee. And could you give one to the clerk, please? The Open Space Committee met on April 6th at our regular meeting, at which point Dave Ryan moved that the committee recommend approval of the Terriffill Water Storage Tank Replacement Project with Mr. Rieger's attached memo included. Mr. Rice seconded and all voted in favor. The motion passed unanimously. So I just want to let folks know this is part of our disposition of open space process, and we've gone through the very first step on that. And you'll see attached Mr. Rieger's memo and also the minutes from the meeting. So that's step 1. Does anyone else have any liaison?
I have a quick update from the Community for Care, with your permission. I just wanted to thank Nancy Sheets and Dr. Harry Morgan for their participation in our Community for Care presentation on depression and anxiety as we age. I also want to thank our Community for Care members, including Chris Kelly, and the other members of the committee that worked so hard to put on this program, and I hope you will all look for it on SCTV because I think there's a lot of very valuable information to share.
Excellent. I heard it was very well received, so well done.
Thank you.
Not going to make any comments about where you were. Any,
Priorities.
right. Does anyone else have any other liaison updates? Elaine, did you want to give an update on the Innovation Fair?
I think I mentioned last meeting, Innovation Fair is coming on April 30th. It's a great multi-location event. High school, library, historical society will be opening up a new section of our very popular bike exhibit, and as we've all seen at our recent audiences on the budget, we've got a lot of people that love biking in town, and we're opening up a new section about adaptive cycling for people with disabilities. So that'll be a great new inclusive item to add, plus all the other technological displays that we have, and everyone's welcome, and it's free to everybody, so come on down.
Excellent. Any other updates? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
That's going to be a record.
Good job, guys.
Yes.
You should go to school vacation more often.
It is vacation.